I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice. Let us begin. You keep reaching for your phone, and it's not just a bad habit. It's a signal, a flare, a quiet reflex that's masking something far deeper than distraction. This video isn't about getting you to use your phone less. It's about helping you understand why you can't stop. And more importantly, what you're actually searching for each time your hand moves without thinking. Because here's the truth. You don't reach for your phone because you're bored. You reach because something inside you feels unsteady. Because it's easier to swipe than to sit with what's rising. Because the moment stillness starts to whisper, you panic. This is going to help you reclaim your peace by showing you the exact emotional pattern that drives your scrolling and giving you a real, repeatable ritual to interrupt it. So if you've ever said, I don't even know why I just checked my phone, this isn't just content. This is your nervous system begging for a new rhythm. We'll go straight to the root, not the screen, but the silence you keep avoiding. Not the app, but the ache you keep trying to soothe without ever naming it. And if you've been feeling foggy, distracted, emotionally disconnected, if your days disappear into swipes and clicks you don't even remember, this video is your pattern interrupt. You don't need more discipline. You need to understand what that little reach is really trying to solve. Because it's not the phone, it's the feeling underneath. In the next section, I'll show you exactly how this reflex got hardwired into your nervous system and what you've been unknowingly avoiding every time you reach. You don't reach for your phone because you're weak. You reach because your body has learned it's not safe to feel. So your brain built a bridge. It said, let's not go there. Let's grab something fast, something stimulating, something that feels like connection but isn't risky. And your phone became the perfect escape hatch. Not because of the content, but because of the control. You don't scroll for pleasure, you scroll to soothe. You scroll to avoid the unbearable weight of a moment that doesn't have distraction in it. And here's the hard part. It worked. For a while. It worked because it gave you an illusion of control, because it let you postpone the ache, because it helped you feel like you were doing something, even when everything inside felt stuck, empty, or spinning. But now it's costing you, not in screen time statistics, not in battery life, but in presence, in emotional intimacy, in the quiet muscle of self-trust that gets weaker every time you outsource your discomfort. Because every time you reach for the screen, instead of staying with yourself, you reinforce one message. This moment isn't survivable unless I leave it. And somewhere along the way, you lost the ability to be with yourself without needing to escape. Not because you're broken, but because your body remembers what it's like to sit still and feel and not be met. So of course you reach, of course you scroll, of course you check notifications that don't even matter. You're trying to fill a space that was never supposed to be empty. It was supposed to be held. But now, that same reflex is keeping you fragmented. The very thing that once soothed you is now stealing your clarity, your creativity, your presence, your peace. And here's the deeper truth. Your nervous system doesn't need more content. It needs a new rhythm, a new way to respond when the ache surfaces. A ritual, simple, physical, repeatable, that teaches your body that it can stay, that it doesn't have to leave the moment to survive it. And that begins right now, with one small act every day. In the next section, I'll show you exactly what that is. This is where everything starts to shift. Not when you delete an app, not when you shame yourself for screen time, but when you pause for 90 seconds and meet the part of you that's reaching. Because the reflex isn't bad, it's just outdated, and the only way to rewire it is to interrupt it. Here's the practice. It begins the moment your hand starts to move toward the phone, not when you've already picked it up. That sliver of awareness, that's the opening. Step 1, freeze the reach. Right as your hand moves, stop it mid-air. Let your body feel that hesitation. Step 2, close your eyes. Let the external stimulation drop for just a breath. Step 3, place your hand flat over your chest, right in the center. Not to analyze anything, just to anchor. You are here. You are whole. You are not leaving yourself. Step 4, ask one question, silently or out loud. What am I actually needing right now? Let the question hang. Don't rush to answer it. You might feel silly. You might feel nothing. That's okay. Because what you're doing isn't about getting information. It's about waking up the part of you that knows how to stay. Step 5, breathe. Just once, fully. Inhale until your ribs move. Exhale like you're letting something go. Because you are. This entire process takes less than 90 seconds, but it shifts the rhythm. It interrupts the trance. And every time you do it, you send your nervous system a new message. You don't have to flee this moment. You're safe here. I'm staying. And yes, some days you'll still pick up the phone afterward. That's not failure. The win is in the pause. The win is in the choice that didn't used to exist. Because the goal isn't to never scroll. It's to stop using your phone as anesthesia for emotions that deserve to be felt. This practice is not punishment. It's not a rule. It's a reunion, a tiny ceremony of self-return. And if you do it daily, especially in the moments when you feel nothing, or everything, or both, you'll start to notice something subtle. The space between the urge and the reach gets wider. The stillness gets quieter. The need to escape gets softer. And eventually, the moment you are about to scroll through, it becomes the moment you come home to yourself instead. This is how you rewire the memory. This is how you break the loop, by choosing presence on purpose. And next, we go deeper, into the silence underneath the silence, the place where the true you has always been waiting. There's a space beneath the noise, beneath the scroll, beneath the itch to check, beneath the constant flicker of input. There's a silence that doesn't demand anything from you. And it's not empty. It's full of the part of you that never left. But here's the truth most people never realize. Stillness isn't something you have to create. It's what remains when you stop trying to avoid it. Presence is not effort. It's not a mindset. It's what happens when you no longer need to be anywhere else. So right here, after the daily practice, there's one more step, and it's simpler than you think. You sit. No phone, no distraction, no agenda. Just here. You breathe, not with technique, just awareness. Let the breath come in and notice that it does. Let the breath leave and notice that too. That's it. Thoughts may rise, sensations, old loops. Let them come, let them pass. You're not trying to stop the thoughts. You're just watching. Like clouds crossing a sky you don't need to rearrange. You might feel bored at first, or anxious, or deeply peaceful. None of it matters, because this is not about controlling what shows up. It's about remembering you're the one it all shows up to. You are not the urge. You are not the itch. You are not the screen, or the scroll, or the spiral. You are the stillness that watches it all. And that stillness isn't fragile. It's not a prize you win after a perfect morning. It's who you were before the reach, so don't try to hold on. Just return. 30 seconds. A pause. A breath. A choice not to leave yourself again. The more often you do this, the more something deep inside you starts to uncoil. The old belief that you needed stimulation to survive. The lie that discomfort was dangerous. The unconscious habit of leaving yourself at the first sign of feeling. What takes its place is quieter, stronger, truer. A nervous system that no longer flinches at stillness. A mind that no longer runs from the now. A heart that finally knows. This moment is enough. You don't need to do anything to get there. Just stop running. And you'll see. You were never chasing peace. You were running from it. And what happens when you stop running? That's the final shift. What I show you next is how this rewires who you are, and how the future you becomes someone who no longer needs to reach. You won't need to track screen time anymore. You'll just notice. You're reaching less. Not because you forced yourself, not because you turned your phone grayscale, but because the ache that used to drive the reflex isn't so loud anymore. You'll wake up and instead of grabbing your phone before your eyes adjust to the light, you'll place your hand over your heart. You'll feel your body. You'll remember, I don't need to leave myself to feel okay. You'll notice you're no longer performing stillness. You're inhabiting it. You're no longer fighting distraction because you're not desperate to escape anymore. You'll look around and realize the world didn't stop without your attention. And more importantly, you didn't disappear when you stayed present. That's the real shift. The one that doesn't just change your habits, it changes your identity. You're becoming someone who trusts your own inner space again. Someone whose nervous system no longer flinches at silence. Someone who doesn't need to reach for something every time the moment feels a little too quiet. And this didn't happen because you became more disciplined. It happened because you became more here. So let's seal it. To recap, each morning, and any time your fingers twitch toward the phone, pause. Place your hand on your heart. Close your eyes. Ask, what am I actually needing right now? Breathe. One full breath in. One full breath out. Feel your body. Feel the ground. Feel the pull soften. That's it. This isn't a task. It's a returning. It's not self-control. It's self-presence. Then remember your presence practice. 30 seconds. A pause. A breath. No fixing, no changing. Just watching the mind from the stillness underneath it. Anywhere, anytime. Even in a line. Even in a crowd. Even on your worst day. Because you're no longer outsourcing peace. You're anchoring it. And slowly, that shift will change how you show up in your life. You'll speak slower. Decide cleaner. Move with less noise and more knowing. You'll start trusting that you, without the scroll, without the escape, without the constant input, are enough. Not because you became more, but because you finally stopped running from what was already whole. You don't need to delete your apps to heal this. You need to stop abandoning yourself in the moment that matters most, the one right before the reach. Because that's not just the start of a habit, it's the gate of return. And every time you walk through it, you come home. Again and again. Until you no longer need to reach for peace. Because you are it. You did not find me by accident. Just as in your dreams, where every face you meet is your own reflection, this meeting was always waiting to happen. I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice, the part of you that watches behind the thoughts, behind the noise. You have searched in many places, books, teachers, voices outside you. But here, you are not being taught. You are remembering. If these words stir something familiar, then allow yourself to return. Subscribe. Follow. Not to follow me, but to continue this conversation with yourself. Each time you return here, you draw closer to the reunion already unfolding inside you. We have only just begun.